Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 31 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Enjoy! So the first thing we're going to want to do is to manufacture these basic circuit boards. So we need to figure out what the ratio would be to making these, and then we can figure out exactly how many per second we want to make. So let's build some assembling machines. And we can just kind of lie these down here and figure out the math. So one machine will do 1 circuit board a second, and it needs 1 basic insulating board and 3 copper. So let's see what the ratio is here. We can also make copper cables with this. So if we multiply those numbers together, we have 4 copper cables per second, and we're going to need 3 copper cables per second. So you multiply those, we get 12. That's the common number here. And how many electronics or copper cable machines are we going to need to hit 12? Well, each one makes 3, or each one makes 4 per second. So we need a total of 3 of them to make 12 per second. And these machines consume 3 per second, so we're going to need 4 of them to consume 12 per second. So there's that ratio there. Now on the other side, we're going to need 1 insulating board per second per machine. It looks like I'm out. I used them all. So we're getting low on resources too. Should pick up some more. Pick up some circuits. Won't be needing to do this for much longer. That seems good enough. Oops, out of copper cable there. I'll just pick up the whole box worth. 1 more machine's run out. We are going to need a bunch of belt here. I'll just pick up the whole stack. Let it do its thing. Put that down there. Insulating boards. So one of these machines is going to make 4 insulating boards per second. That's exactly what we needed, because each one of these needs 1 per second. So that's a perfect ratio there. So then we're going to need 2 wood and 2 stone tablets per second. Now, wood, we're just getting from the belt, so that's fine. But stone tablets, we're going to need some basic assembling machines for this. Boom. So it's making 8 per second, but it's running at half speed, so it's making 4 per second. And looks like that's a perfect ratio there. So this, for making basic circuits anyway, this is the perfect ratio. Now the question is, how many circuits do we want to make per second anyway? And it's kind of an important decision here, because if you look down here for the recipe of basic electronic boards, it actually requires the circuits. And the assembly line for making the electronic boards are going to be very complicated if you have to assemble the basic circuit boards and then turn them in to the next tier. It'd be a lot easier just to assemble all the boards we're going to need here, both the ones that are going on the belt and the ones that are going to be sent to be upgraded. So how many to make? Well, I mean, we have been doing the idea of 6 per second for everything else. So if we did 3 of these, that would make 12 electronics tier 1 boards per second. And then 6 of them could be sent over to make the tier 2 circuit boards. So why not? It's not that important. So let's do that. Hopefully I remember that ratio there. Now we're going to need to look at these to see if they're inserter limited, because they are 2 units tall instead of 3 units tall. So it could be really hard to have enough inserters to make them run at full power. And honestly, we may not be able to without blue inserters, but we won't be that far away from getting them. You can see here that it's going to need 1 board per second, and it can output 1 completed board per second. So just to visualize it, 1 in and 1 out on that side, and then have like 2 belts. Or it could be on the same belt, I guess, but Let's see, and then, but the other side, the copper cable is the hard stuff, because we're going to need 3 of those per second, which is going to require 3 red inserters. But do we actually need 3? Because if we put 1 on the corner, it's going to be running 50% faster. So 1.15 units per second for a standard red inserter, times 1.5 for the increased speed, means it's going to run at 1.7 units per second. And then if we add an extra inserter, it's going to be 2.875, so it's actually not going to be enough. We're going to need 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then we can put a corner inserter. Let's see, pick up, drop right here, make it long-handed, so it will pick up from there, and then that will be, this should make this machine run at full power. Now this corner trick will only work if you're pulling from the belt that's closest to the machine like this, because it's already working in long-handed mode to reach for that. So it doesn't really work. It can't reach a belt that's out here. So that's something to keep in mind. But now that we have one machine down, we can try to put a second machine down and try to visualize this. Alright, so it's going to be outputting on this belt, and this outside belt is where the insulating boards are going to be coming from. So now we kind of have a bit of a repeating pattern here. So we can just stamp this over and over again if we make a convenient little recipe here. Oh, I'll put this here. So that's 2. So we're going to need 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, that got pretty close. And we're going to need more ammo. Lots of more ammo. I'll pick up some iron plates. Why not grab these? We can pick these up. Out of red inserters. Is that all of them? It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, looks like there's some more there. And one other consideration we're going to need to do is, since we don't have access to near inserters, it means all of these inserters are going to be outputting onto the far side of the belt. So we're going to want to do a belt splitter in here to move them to the near side. It's a pretty small thing. All we need to do is this. So it's just going to take the things that are on the outside and move them to the inside, just to make it so we can more easily fully compress the belt. So fortunately, since the nanobots don't do long-handed inserters, I'm going to have to change all of these. And the corner ones too. Yep. That was correct. Okay. And these ones. Alright, looks good. Could probably put some lights in. But, I'll wait. That's correct. Okay. Let's do the cable next. Down or up? Maybe it should be... Well, let's place the machines down first to see which direction it needs to go. We need to figure out how many inserters we're going to need for this. 4 copper cable a second. That's going to be output. So let's calculate this. If we do 1 corner inserter, which is 1.15 times 1.5, so it'll be at 1.7, plus 2.3 for 2 more red inserters will be 4.025, which is just barely enough. So we can basically repeat that setup on the other side for copper cables. Oops, and let's see, pick up, drop, like that. That looks good. And the input is going to be, looks like just 2 plates per second. That's pretty easy to do. All right, let's make our repeatable pattern. All right, that looks pretty good. But since we're starting on the bottom, we actually want the belt to go up. And I've been designing this setup in a particular way that you want all the belts to be going straight and up. So if you ever want to expand this setup, all you need to do is build up. If you're building sideways, like left or right, you can't easily expand your production. So see here, if we wanted to double this, I mean, there's some pipes in the way, but we basically could just copy this and just stick it right here and double our output. But if it was not in this setup, if it was going left or right, you know, parallel with the bus instead of perpendicular to it, it would be a lot harder to upgrade. So it's something to consider, and that's kind of why I'm doing things in this way. So how many of these cable machines did we need? Well, we multiplied 4 times 3 to get 12, so 3 times 3 is 9. So we need 9 of these in total. But that's kind of a weird number, so let's see if we can do 10. Maybe we'll do 9. Let's see what it looks like when it's copied. So let's see, it's copy. Well, let's put the poles in here. Something like that, sure. 4, 6. Now, one problem we're going to run into, although we balanced it on this side, balancing on this side is going to be a lot harder. Well, actually, now that I think about it, there might be kind of a slight bug where when you put these corners, these long-handed corner inserters like this, it actually places on the near side of the belt for some reason. If I recall, that's how it works. So let's just build this and see if it works that way. And then I won't have to worry about belt balancing this, because it's only going to be so much longer before we have near inserters, and we can inherently balance these belts without having to worry about that. Well, I do like things being perfect ratios, so let's pick all this stuff up then and have it be perfect. Look at all those red inserters. That's so many. It looks like we're going to need more motors. Looks like we're actually out of wood here. Well, probably won't matter that much longer. Kind of hesitant about turning too much of this stuff into products, but I'll leave it like that for now. Looks like we need more ammo too. Another thing we could do to help visualize where the bus is going to be is we can kind of draw these little pathways with stone bricks. This is just to mark the area where the bus isn't going to be. And it's helpful when you're working on the belts where the bus currently isn't. So if we're working on belts out here, we would know exactly where to put the undergrounds. Also, when you're placing the bus or placing your assembly lines, you'll know that this area is reserved for underground belts and things like that. So it's just a little thing you can do to make visualizing where the bus is easier. And we need another axe. Where are they? Over here. Yeah, and making these paths actually consumes a ton of stone, because you see we're completely out of it already. And I'll extend that a little bit to... Oh, that might take a little longer than I was expecting. I was hoping I could just go noik and just pick up a bunch, but at my 13.3 units per second rate here. Now, one kind of disadvantage to doing this is you see your character moves faster on a path and less fast when you're not. So when you're walking up, see how it kind of makes it jump a little bit? So if you're watching the video thinking something's wrong with it, it's not. It's just the character moving faster. You could get rid of this by placing belts underneath, or placing bricks underneath the belts. Like, you can do that. And then it won't do that anymore. But then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of using bricks to mark where the bus is supposed to be, so... I don't know, you could try it out and see if you like it. Alright, let's place the rest of this down here. And we're going to need to do all of the corners. Wait, but that one isn't in the right spot. Are everything else correct? Yep, just not this one for some reason. Let's copy that. There we go. Alright, looks good. Yeah, we're going to have to do these corner ones, so it looks like it's going to be this one. Yes. Alright. Before we build further, how about let's just check to see if this works. So, let's do some belt stitching here. We don't need to run the rest of the belts yet. We can just kind of test it. Right, just simply like that. And let's see if this works. Yeah, seems like they're running at full speed. Of course, these machines are going to clog because the belt can't handle the full output of these, but that's fine because these machines are going to be picking up copper cable as they put them down, so the belt is going to not be full like this. But it looks like it's working, so that's good. All right, so now we just need to do the insulating boards. Let's put it right here, and I believe they do it at the speed of 4 per second. Yep. We're doing 12, so we're going to need 3 of these machines. So let's see how many inserters are we going to need. Well, it's going to be doing 4 boards per second output, which I believe is this kind of the same thing we've been doing. So 1, 2, and then we need a corner. So let's put a second one there. And let's do the corner inserter. Pick up, drop, pick up, drop, and then these are going to have to go uphill. Okay, and then, yeah, this might be inserter limited because we're also going to need to do 2 wood and 2 stone tablet per second in. Let's see, can we do this with this setup? Yeah. No. I don't think so. Unless they're all on the same belt, then maybe it would work. So let's see if we can make that happen. Because it's basically, yeah, it's the same amount of products going in as products going out. So we're going to need those 4, and then pick up, drop, like this, and like this. Yep, it'll work. But both products, the stone and the wood, have to be on this one belt. They have to share the same belt. So how are we going to do that? Well, we needed 3 of these, so we can at least copy that. Yeah, and this is going to require a whole bunch of power poles because of the density of inserters here. Like every single spot is filled here, every opening. So we are going to need, with these machines, each machine uses 2 stone tablet per second, so we're going to need 6. And actually, it's that 6 pieces of wood per second is close to what we're producing, so actually this is an ideal ratio for just the planned factory output of 6 items per second in general. Well, this one's going to put out 4 per second, so we're going to need 1.5. Alright, so how many inserters is it going to need? Well, it's basically going to need 3, or similar to these basically, where it's 2 straight ones and also a corner one. Even though we have 3 straight spots, if we put 3 down, it's not going to be enough. But now that I think about it, it might be, because we're going to have 2 machines and they're not going to be running at full power. So we're going to have a total of 6 red inserters. So actually that will work. Cool. So let's put down a second one right there. And make a bunch of red inserters. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, hopefully that works. I'm worried they're a little... This one's too far down, but we'll see. We'll see if it works. And then on the inside, we're only going to need 1 brick per second. So that's very easy to do. Like that. And we can do some power poles. That should be almost everything we need here. So let's get the stone bricks in here. And if you're not used to belt stitching, kind of what I do is I figure out where is the belt going to be, and then I open up some spaces on the left and the right of there for that until I get to the belt that I want to get at, which is here. And then I need to put a balancer right here, which means pulling off those two as well. So let's see if this works. Seems to. Alright, we can put this right there. Let's make some more. Now I could just put this right here because it, you know, this piece doesn't need to be used, but I like things looking square, so if I do that, it looks nice and clean, even though there is an empty space right there. Alright. So since these stone tablets are going to be taking up the right, we need to put, let's do that. There we go. We need to put the wood on the left, which means it's going to be coming up through there. Let's do the same trick I like to do. Right there, and then the balancer is going to go there, so let's pick up those. Boom. Let's see how this works. Actually, this should start the output. These are all the items we need. Look at that flurry of inserters. That's crazy. Yep, and then once this blocks up on this side, on the left, then they're all gonna be bypassed on the right. So we're still getting full output. Yeah, it looks like it's working pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell when we don't have near inserters if you're getting full output or not, but it looks like we are. So let's put all of the undergrounds in here. And now we need to move these circuits onto the bus. And why not do it right there? So, right there. See, that's why I like having these stone paths, because then you know exactly the position that the undergrounds are supposed to go. So you know if you're placing them and for some reason it's on grass, it's not on the bricks, then you know you put it in the wrong spot. So, yep, that will be the output. Yeah, I mean, most of everything is green, except for these. But, you know, it's not really running at full power. And again, we don't have the near inserter, so it doesn't really paint the best picture here. But my impression is that it seems to be working pretty well. Let's see, I'll put it one space down. And let's put the inserter in here, and that will be our new circuit board chest, where we can pick up items we need. And now we can place some lights. Let's see where to place them all. Alright, that looks pretty good. So you can see that if we wanted to expand this, all we would need to do, it wouldn't be as simple as doing like a stamp. This isn't a stamp. You know, you would have to copy each item individually, but we would know if we want to double this, we would just, you know, increase the number of these machines to 6 and those machines to 4. And it would be as simple as, you know, just choosing how to place your recipe like that. And then you can kind of get it right there. And then we can just kind of copy that as many times as necessary. So it's not as simple as a stamp, but this is much, much better than the alternative of having a big mess of machines and really not having any capacity to upgrade, because you just never know if you built enough machines or not. And having something that's easy to expand is the best way to make your factory future-proof. And I'm not worried about all this stuff, because this is all temporary, believe it or not, all this stuff. It's all going to be removed at some point, and then there will be plenty of room for the bus to expand up as high as it needs to go. And also, this bus is artificially large because of these inserters. We don't have fast inserters, so we have to put all these gaps between the machines to get enough space for all the inserters. I mean, look at that. Like, this is one long line of inserters, red inserters, like maximum output on both sides. because that's how many we need to get full output. But at least we can get rid of this setup, because now we're making them on the bus. Seems like there's a better way to do these cables now. You can kind of move things around a little bit. Seems good. I mean, it's just amazing how much faster this is going to be able to produce what we need compared to before. It's great. That's all the time we have for today, so I will see you at the next episode.